I never thought changing my Wi-Fi password would bring cops to my door. But that's exactly what happened. One moment I was sipping coffee, minding my own business, and the next I was being accused of hacking the neighborhood by a woman who couldn't stand losing control. My name's Julian Mercerfield, and I live in a quiet little townhouse community just outside Tempe, Arizona. Or at least it used to be quiet until the day I found out my neighbor Colleen had been using my Wi-Fi for months. Saturday mornings were my peace. Coffee, laptop, maybe a few lines of code before grocery shopping. That morning started no different, except the internet was crawling. I knew the signs: too many devices, too much bandwidth. Something or someone was clogging my network. So I did what any tech guy would do, logged into my router, changed the password, and hit save. 10 minutes later I was done. Then came the knock. Not the friendly, "Hey, your mail ended up in my box" kind of knock. This one rattled the door sharp and angry. I opened it, and there she was. Colleen Frobisher. Early 50s hair pulled so tight it could snap clipboard energy even without the clipboard. Everyone in the neighborhood knew her, one of those HOA types who think the bylaws were written by God himself. She didn't bother with hello. "Julian, what did you just do?" I blinked. Good morning to you too." "My internet just went out," she snapped. "You did something to the Wi-Fi, didn't you?" I frowned. "Your internet?" "Yes," she said, folding her arms. "Everything was working fine until 10 minutes ago. My husband's phone, our smart TVs, the cameras, all offline. What exactly are you trying to pull?" That's when it clicked. The timing, the confidence. She'd been using my Wi-Fi. I kept calm. "Colleen, my Wi-Fi isn't community property. The HOA covers landscaping, not broadband. I changed my password, that's all." Her jaw tightened. "So you admit it?" "I admit. I changed my own password." "Yes." She let out this laugh, sharp and sarcastic. "You think you can just cut off shared services? We all pay dues here. You don't own the internet, Julian." I leaned against the doorframe. "Actually, I kind of do. It's in my name." Her eyes narrowed like I'd just confessed to arson. "You'll regret this," she hissed. "I'll make sure the HOA and the authorities know what you've done." I shut the door and just stood there for a second, half amused, half annoyed. Authorities over Wi-Fi. But before I could even sit back down, I heard sirens. Real ones. Flashing lights filled my window. 2 squad cars parked in front of my house. Colleen was in her driveway, waving her arms, shouting like she'd caught a criminal in the act. When I opened the door, 2 officers stood there. One tall, one short, both looking like they'd rather be anywhere else. "Sir, we got a call about possible interference with community internet services," the taller one said. I almost laughed. Community internet. That doesn't exist here. I just changed my Wi-Fi password. From behind them, Colleen screamed, "He's lying! He hacked our home systems!" I rubbed my face. "Officer, please, come inside. I'll show you." They followed me in. I opened my laptop, logged into my router, and showed them the device list. There it was, my laptop, my phone, my TV, and then a list of others. 2 Samsung TVs, 3 tablets, a Fire Stick, and an outdoor camera labeled FroCam 2. I pointed. "Those aren't mine. They've been connected for months. And look, the signal source is her house." The shorter officer nodded slowly. "That would be hers." The taller one sighed. "Well, that explains it." We stepped outside. Colleen rushed over, phone recording, voice shaking with fake outrage. "Did you see it? He's been hijacking the whole block." The officer shook his head. "Ma'am, your devices were connected to his private network. When he changed his password, you lost access. That's not tampering, that's unauthorized use on your end." Her face went pale, then red. "That's ridiculous. We pay HOA dues." "Ma'am," the officer said flatly, "HOA dues don't cover internet." And just like that, she was cornered. But instead of backing down, she doubled down. She accused me of spying on her family, claimed I had access to her security cameras. I just stood there stunned. When the cops left, I thought maybe, just maybe, that would be the end of it. But with people like Colleen, humiliation doesn't end things. It fuels them. By that evening, she'd emailed the entire HOA listserv. Subject line, "Urgent Neighborhood Security Breach." She painted me as a tech predator who'd hacked her home. And guess what? People believed her. By Sunday morning, my inbox was full. "What's going on? Is this true? Are we at risk?" Then the HOA president, Howard Brentley, retired insurance guy, proud owner of 10 beige sweaters, called for an emergency meeting. That night the clubhouse was packed. I could feel the eyes on me when I walked in. Colleen stood at the podium looking smug. "My family's home was compromised," she began. "Our cameras, our phones all shut down because one man decided to hijack what rightfully belongs to this community." A wave of murmurs rippled through the crowd. I waited until Howard nodded at me. I walked to the front, opened my laptop, and projected the logs. "These are my connected devices," I said. "And these," I pointed to the others, "are hers. Every single one pinged from her address. I didn't hack her. She's been stealing my Wi-Fi for months." Colleen's smile vanished. "That's a lie," she shouted. "He's manipulating the data." Howard frowned. "Colleen, do you deny those devices belong to you?" "Anyone could rename them," she stammered. "He could have done that." I switched slides, showing the MAC addresses tied to her router. "Actually, no. These trace directly to your house. It's all verifiable." The room gasped. A neighbor, Sandra, raised her hand. "So she's been using your internet this whole time?" "Yep," I said. "And when I changed my password, she called the cops." Laughter rippled through the room. For a moment I felt a spark of relief. But Colleen wasn't done. She slammed her hands on the table. "You're all fools. He's dangerous. If he can access my cameras, what's stopping him from watching yours?" That one landed. The room went quiet. Fear spread fast, faster than reason. I could feel it turning again. That's when doubt crept in. Maybe I had pushed too hard. Maybe I should have ignored it. Let her keep using my Wi-Fi, avoided all this chaos. For a brief moment, I wanted to give up to let her win, just so I could have peace. But then I remembered my sister's words from the night before. "You're fighting her with facts. She's fighting you with fear, and fear is louder." She was right. If I wanted the truth to matter, I had to make people feel it. Over the next few days, things got worse. HOA suspended my volunteer role. A concerned resident emailed my boss claiming I was tampering with security systems. HR called me in. My reputation, the one I'd built quietly for years, was slipping through my fingers because of one entitled neighbor with a loud voice and a camera phone. That night I sat in the dark, staring at my laptop. I could see the folder labeled proof, all my logs, screenshots, data. But none of it mattered if people didn't believe me. So I made a choice. I'd face her again, but this time not with data. With truth, human, messy, vulnerable truth. A week later, the final HOA meeting was announced. Colleen bragged in her email that she had new evidence. The whole neighborhood showed up. She stood first, waving a folder like it was a smoking gun. "These screenshots prove Julian accessed my devices. He's a threat to our safety." She didn't share them, of course, just held them up dramatically. Howard turned to me. "Julian, I didn't open my laptop." I walked to the podium with empty hands. "Before anything else," I said, "I just want to remind everyone who I am. I've lived here 6 years. You've seen me mowing my lawn, helping set up the HOA projector, passing out candy on Halloween. I'm not a hacker. I'm just your neighbor. And all of this started because I changed my Wi-Fi password." A few people chuckled under their breath. I let the silence hang, then continued. "Colleen's painted me as a criminal, a spy, but the truth is, her devices were connected to my network without my permission. When I locked them out, she panicked, and instead of owning it, she tried to destroy me." I looked around the room. Ask yourselves, what kind of community do we want to be? One where the loudest person decides the truth, or one where we respect each other's boundaries? Sandra stood again. "I believe Julian. He's never caused trouble." Her husband added, "Yeah, why should he pay for her Wi-Fi?" Laughter broke out again, this time warmer. The tide turned. I could feel it. Colleen's face twisted with rage. "You're all blind. He'll come for you next." Howard banged the gavel. "Enough. We've reviewed the evidence. There is no proof of misconduct by Mr. Mercerfield. This matter is closed." Colleen froze, mouth open, eyes wide. Then she grabbed her folder and stormed out, muttering something about taking it higher. I just stood there breathing. Not smiling, not celebrating, just breathing. When I got home that night, I sat on my porch. The desert air was cool, quiet. For the first time in weeks, there were no emails, no sirens, no accusations, just silence. And I thought about everything, how fear spread faster than facts, how one lie could unravel trust in an entire neighborhood. I realized something. Then trust isn't built when things are easy. It's built when things are hard, when you stand your ground even if you're standing alone. So yeah, I changed my Wi-Fi password, and somehow I ended up changing a lot more than that. Lesson: protect your boundaries, respect others, and never let fear decide what's true.